Namaskar, everyone. It gives us immense pleasure to welcome you all to the Inner Peace Workshop organized by Ramashram Satsang Mathura. Ramashram Satsang Mathura is a non-profit organization that strives to promote peace, harmony, and spiritual growth among individuals. The Inner Peace Workshop is a step towards achieving this goal. The workshop will help you explore your inner self and discover the peace that lies within you. Let us start with a brief history of Ramashram Satsang Mathura. On November 3, 1883, a noble soul, Param Sant Dr. Chaturbhut Sahai Ji, was born in the northern Indian province of Etah. He would later become the founder of Ramashram Satsang Mathura. He studied Urdu, Farsi, English, Hindi, and Sanskrit. He had a degree in electrohomeopathy and possessed basic knowledge of Ayurveda that he used for selfless social service. Dr. Chaturbhut Sahai Ji, our Guru Maharaj, met Lala Ji Maharaj, his Guru, also known as Dada Guru, during the course of his Ayurveda practice in Fatehgarh. Over the years, their association gradually deepened. During an epidemic, they had the opportunity to spend more time together. Guru Maharaj experienced an indescribable dissemination of intrinsic power towards him whenever he was in the company of Dada Guru. It was during this time that Dada Guru passed on the knowledge of this unique method of meditation to Guru Maharaj. There were no spoken words or scriptures read. There was just a silent transfer of knowledge, reliving the Guru-disciple tradition yet again. Our system of meditation is based on what Guru Maharaj learned from Dada Guru that day. In 1919, Dada Guru directed Guru Maharaj to propagate this system of meditation to as many seekers as possible. Guru Maharaj, upholding the ethics of the Guru Shishya Parampara, followed his Guru's directive in letter and spirit. He dedicated his entire life towards propagating this little-known but unique method of meditation and influenced thousands of spiritual seekers who he came into contact with, without any discrimination based on religion, social, or economic status. Due to Guru Maharaj's efforts and Dada Guru's blessing, the satsang's popularity increased at a fast pace. In 1931, Dada Guru Maharaj personally attended the first spiritual congregation, or Bhandara, organized by Guru Maharaj in Etah, where he used to reside during that time. Let us now explore the origins of Dada Guru, also known as Param Sant Sri Ramachandra Ji Maharaj. He was born in 1873 in Manipuri in northern India. He studied English, Urdu, and Farsi and worked as a government official in Farrukhabad. Although as a young man, Lalaji, as he was lovingly called, imbibed religious virtues from his mother, his spiritual journey did not truly begin until he received initiation from a spiritually enlightened man, Maulana Shah Fazl Ahmad Khan Sahib, also known as Hazur Maharaj, a follower of Islam. This great Sufi saint, Hazur Maharaj, took the revolutionary step of imparting spiritual knowledge to a disciple who was not a follower of his own religion, thus exemplifying that spirituality is above and beyond the barriers of religion, caste, and creed. He facilitated the enlightenment of Dada Guru Maharaj Ji, thus setting in motion the events that would culminate in the establishment of Ramashram Satsang. The Rs 150 commemorative coin that you see here was released recently, marking the 150th birth anniversary week of Dada Guru Maharaj Ji. It is a tribute to a saint who promoted the evolution of human consciousness, thus rendering a great service to mankind, and with whose blessings Ramashram Satsang Mathura came into being. Let us now introduce some other saints in the Ramashram Satsang family. An epitome of piety, purity, and compassion, Jia Ma was spiritually empowered and had been declared spiritually proficient by 3 gurus, Dada Guru Maharaj, Mahatma Raghuveer Dayal Ji, and Fakir Maulana Abdul Ghani Khan Sahib. This was unprecedented at that time. For Jia Ma, all followers were her children. She treated everyone in the family with love and compassion and tirelessly attended to the ones who needed help. Pandit Mihilal Ji and Guru Maharaj's eldest son, Dr. Brijendra Kumar Ji, conducted satsang activities under Jia Ma's guardianship. Pandit Mihilal Ji played a very important role and made extensive contributions to the propagation and proliferation of the satsang. The current form of the satsang in India is mainly due to Pandit Ji Maharaj's ardent hard work. He held the important post of the editor of the Sadhan magazine for several years, and his contribution to the satsang literature has been immense. Dr. Brijendra Kumar Ji worked closely with Pandit Ji in shaping the satsang. Subsequently, several prominent personalities like Hemendra Kumar Ji and Narendra Kumar Ji served the satsang and are continuing to do so. One of them is respected Sanjeev Kumar Ji. Sanjeev Kumar Ji is a meditation practitioner with over 40 years of experience. He has been facilitating guided meditation sessions in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area and across the US for the last 2 decades. Sanjeev Ji is also the president of Ramashram Satsang Mathura Incorporated. He believes that by following the meditation technique developed by his grandfather, Guru Maharaj Ji, it is possible to reduce the impact of stress, anxiety, and depression that modern life places on the mind and body. He is strongly motivated to make a meaningful impact in people's lives and increase the peace and happiness we can experience day to day by following the peaceful lifestyle promoted by the principles of Satsang. Throughout the workshop, you will be guided by an experienced spiritual leader, Sanjeev Ji, who will help you learn the technique to find inner peace and overcome stress, anxiety, and negative emotions. You will also have the opportunity to interact with other like-minded individuals during the breakout session after the meditation. Here, during the question and answer session, you will be able to ask any questions that you may have after experiencing the meditation session. We believe that inner peace is essential for a fulfilling life, and we hope that this workshop will help you find that peace within yourself. We urge you to approach the workshop with an open mind, be receptive to new ideas and techniques, and participate actively in the session. We wish you a rewarding and enriching experience during the workshop. Thank you for joining us today.
Happy Saturday, everyone. I will now give you a brief overview of this satsang session. If you direct your attention towards the screen, you'll see the first element is satsang. Satsang is a scientific method whereby we may obtain peace, light, and love in our life. It requires no physical skill, spiritual accomplishment, or meditation experience to begin its practice. Satsang consists of 2 words, sat and sang. Sat means positive energy, and sang means to be with or to be in the presence of. Therefore, the word satsang means to be in the presence of positive energy. The next element is meditation. Meditation is an important part of satsang. When we meditate, we withdraw consciousness from worldly objects and direct it inwards to focus on a single thought. In doing so, our minds become calm and our thoughts become pure, thereby allowing us to obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. Inner orientation. There are two types of satsang, inner satsang and outer satsang. An example of outer satsang would be chanting or attending pilgrimages. When we practice outer satsang, we have the potential to change our behavior, but only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. The satsang that you will learn today is an inner satsang where we meditate in silence. Group session. These weekend workshops are structured for group participation. When we meditate as a group, our focus is improved and our personal progress along our spiritual path is expedited. By regularly attending these weekend workshops, the benefits of group participation are amplified. Joy and inner happiness. All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul, but only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain a joyous state. Each time we practice satsang, our inner happiness gradually increases, ultimately culminating in a state of joy, which we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The agenda for today consists of 3 sessions: the informative session, the practice session, and the interactive session. During the informative session, you receive a lecture about a satsang topic, the founder, or some relevant spiritual topic. During the practice session, you'll receive instructions on how to meditate, followed by a period of practice. During the interactive session, you'll have the opportunity to ask questions, or there'll be a panel discussion. And now, I'd like to introduce you to the facilitator of today's event. He has over 40 years of satsang experience. He's the grandson of Guru Maharaj, the founder of Ramashram Satsang. He was born into a satsang family where he experienced his family members obtain states of enlightenment and lead lives of peace, light, and love. At an early age, he began traveling with the mission throughout India, facilitating satsangs. And during that time, he witnessed the positive effects that satsang could have on mankind. And upon arriving to the United States, both he and his wife continued to facilitate satsangs for local satsangis. He has led teams of satsang members in translating important satsang literature into English and has worked tirelessly to make satsang more accessible to Western and English-speaking audiences. He currently travels throughout the United States, India, and England facilitating satsangs while maintaining his duties as a husband, a father, and an IT executive. Today, he will teach us a rare and ancient form of satsang as taught by Guru Maharaj. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji.
So happy Saturday, everyone. And thanks, Eddie, for all these, the way you describe satsang. I think that's very important for everyone to, before we practice, we need to understand what we're trying to do here. And today, my brother Amitji is with me. Last week, we were in Toronto, in-person session, had like almost 100 people there. So, at the end of the day, this is all about our own individual inner peace. That's all there is to it. And as Eddie was talking about, there are outer satsangs and inner satsangs. And I actually recently, Anita ji and Ajay ji did some translation from the 7-volume book that my grandfather wrote, a while ago, but very relevant in terms of understanding how to practice this, how to make this, part of the lifestyle, which you literally can bring in inner peace on demand in your life. So what he, so we all know about, the physical exercises, poses, and breathing exercises aspect of yoga. But here, the focus is on the meditative aspects of the yogic practices like dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. So in this session, let's just talk a little bit for a few minutes before we start the practice. And I'll talk about how to practice in a short while. So this practice, and there are now hundreds, maybe several hundreds of ways in which you can meditate. And most of them will help you concentrate. But what Guru Maharaj, my grandfather, is saying is that the practice of concentration, of being able to attain total, unwavering concentration is not our final goal. So he says it only serves to deliver us to the state of deep meditation. So we want to, yes, we want to concentrate or manifest something very positive, but then we want to go into deep meditation. In this state, there is no thought, no resolve, no worry of the future or the past, no awareness of self or others. So, it's like it's not just concentration or, when you are in deep meditation, you forget where you are, who you are, etc. So no awareness of self or others, then obviously no wish, no pain, even, the result is joy, but at that point in deep meditation, there is no joy or suffering. The mind becomes completely still and quiet. So all thoughts cease and the external knowledge disappears. The subconscious mind retreats into complete stillness. Such a state, when it lasts continuously for minutes or hours, is called samadhi or higher consciousness. This is the low. So anyway, he talks about some samadhis there. So then he's talking about when one dives into the water, only then you get the idea of the depth of the water. So practice. So anyway, so now in samadhis, which is a very consistent state of deep meditation, is food for the deeper self that nourishes it, provides, and this is one aspect that he emphasizes, that, we are so focused on the physical comfort and physical taking care of our body, that there is this inner self that needs to be provided nourishment, and we need to clean the cleanliness and all that. We need to tone the inner self. So just like skipping a meal during the day, or if you don't properly nourish your physical body, that would weaken it. Skipping meditation sessions also deprives our inner self of the nourishment, and the inner strength then fades away. So that is why one should practice daily. During each practice session, try to attain a state of deep meditation. So that is the goal. Concentration. So dharana, dhyan, and samadhi are the three parts of the 8 limbs of yoga, according to Maharishi Patanjali. And what Guru Maharaj is talking about is those three: concentration, meditation, and then deep state of meditation. So you ought to go to the consistent and deep level of meditation. So people who cannot spare even 15 to 30 minutes out of 24 hours for the benefit of our deeper self, and hence they only attend to the physical body and the mind, find it very difficult to establish a connection with their deeper self, and will not be able to receive some of the benefits that you get from this practice. When the mind disconnects from the external world, and when its internal work and activity also ends, it is then that it connects to the deeper spiritual spheres. It is then that it receives uplifting energy from these spheres and becomes thoroughly familiar with all the powers and nuances of these, I call them spiritual realms. This is true knowledge, and that this is when one witnesses the true reality. All peace, power, and inner strength are rooted in and hidden in this complete stillness of the subconscious mind. The profound spiritual attainment comes to those whose minds speak the language of silence, not those who are silent just from physically speaking. These are the ones who become entirely one. So they unite with this transcendental energy, which, as Eddie was talking about, is satsang, to be with this transcendental energy. And yoga, by definition, also means union with this transcendental energy. People who spend their entire time engaged in worldly affairs are unable to attain those states. These people who wastefully spend all their energy cannot effectively bring themselves into control, cannot connect with the deeper source, and therefore are unable to attain inner peace, which is lasting and deep. I can go on and on. This 7-volume book just talks about these concepts in very articulate and deep fashion, and slowly I'm trying to get these videos out on the YouTube channel that get into some of the depth, and as well as in these sessions. But maybe I'll pick some of the additional information after the session. Let's practice now. So all these sessions start with instruction. So that's why I think it is in that way guided meditation, not that it's a breathing workout. So let's start the practice. So number one, we want to concentrate. So that's where it starts. We want to manifest transcendental energy. So 2 things are important to start with. One is a still and quiet and relaxed posture. So sit in a relaxed posture so that for next 15-20 minutes, your bodily movement is minimized. So still and relaxed posture, and now eyes lightly closed. So again, for the same reason, the sensory input, we want to, that distracts our mind as well. So doesn't help the concentration. So eyes lightly closed, and then observe your body is totally relaxed. And then manifest this transcendental energy. Think about the presence of this transcendental energy right here, right now with us. And it's in form of light that's entering our heart, enlightening our heart, and then distributing throughout our body, and we are getting completely and totally immersed in this light. It's that simple. You will find that actually it's not that simple. Mind always wanders away. So what we do is we start with music to help the concentration, help this meditation, help us to get into deeper meditation. And then music fades away, and we are practicing deep, silent meditation on this transcendental energy. So every time you realize that your mind, so you can do a lot of other things that you do to meditate or concentrate before or after. During this practice, all you do is just focus on the presence of this transcendental energy in form of light that's entering your heart, distributing throughout your body, and you becoming one with this light. Your mind wanders away, which it will naturally. All you do is bring it back to this thought and this thought alone, that you are in presence of this transcendental energy in form of light that's entering your heart and then distributing throughout your body, and you getting totally and completely immersed in this light. Let's start now. It's a happy Saturday, everyone. This is the more I think about it, it's a very, very unique process that has um, roots in very different and very many, um, ideologies and practices. And what worked for Guru Maharaj and his guru, basically, he just packaged that, and people have been practicing. Not everyone gets the same results, but one thing that I observed was that it is effective and efficient if you follow it properly. So yeah, it's now your time to ask any questions. There are no, we're all learning here. So any questions are good questions. So Luz, happy Saturday. How are you doing? And Jeffrey.
Happy Saturday, my dear friends. I am actually in New York now, and I was listening to your meditation on the bus. So, because I'm dedicated, and it was wonderful, as it always is.
That must be, yeah, I always enjoy being in New York every single time.
My family's still here. My mother and my sister, my nephews, and a really good group of core friends. So awesome. It is still home. I grew up here. But you know what? Starting off the day with your meditation, even though I'm on a very crowded bus in a crowded city, is still useful. I think this meditation is going to set the direction for the rest of my day. So even, if one can find the time, even in this kind of crazy schedule that one might have, it's still very beneficial. That's how I feel. So thank you. I don't have questions though at this moment.
Oh, enjoy. And yeah, it looks like even so my brother is visiting me from India, and he was in New York too for the last few days, and we'll be back in New York. So yeah.
Thank you all for the wonderful meditation this morning.
Thanks, Liz. As always, glad to have you here.
Glad to be here.
So Felix is asking a question. So during the session, I felt sleepy along the line and my mind swaying to other thoughts. Is that to be expected? Answer is absolutely yes. So sleep is not very common, like mind swaying away is very natural, very, very common. And that's why it's said practice, practice, practice. Because practice makes that better. The sleep aspect, I think it's not very common, but it is common in the sense that many people, when they relax during the meditation, while it's supposed to be an awake state, inner awake state, some tend to get into sleep, and I think we have to kind of help ourselves. Again, it might be through practice as well as reminding yourself. Sometimes I do Yog Nidra, and the instruction is I will not fall asleep, and there are times, most of the times I do. So So dozing off intermittently. So I think that can get better. We have to just remind ourselves that this is to be, awake internally. That should help. And another question is, how do you know when you have achieved the deep inner peace? How should you be feeling? And, there are two ways in which, so Guru Maharaj said that if your inner peace, level of inner peace is increasing as you practice, then you are on the right track. So now what is inner peace? Inner peace is defined as, or inner happiness, sorry. So inner happiness, the level of inner happiness is increasing through your practice. And what is inner happiness is that level of feeling happy or joyful when there are no external stimuli. So it's not based on acquiring something material. It's not like, people are praising you and you're feeling good about that. No, it's like when the external stimuli is not in place, how do you feel? So that's the level of joy, level of inner happiness. If that keeps increasing, so you are happy for no reason, which people will say, so it can, but anyway, so if you're feeling happier in your normal state behavior. And then the second one that my brother is reminding me is, if your behavior is getting better over time, how, so one of my friends actually did a talk and I picked up FIR. If you're reducing FIR, which is the frequency, intensity, and recovery time of your upheavals, emotional or otherwise. So if your behavior is getting better, you're getting, your anger and greed and other stuff in control, or at least it's trending in the right direction. That also would mean you're on the right track. But deep inner peace, the state of samadhi, the way Guru Maharaj described it, like Sahaj Samadhi, and Eddie, maybe you can talk about that a little bit. It's when you don't feel too happy when things are good, when you don't feel too sad when things are not so good, when you're like love and hate is not where you're swaying between situations and people. So even keel, if that's where you have achieved inner peace. Actually, another definition that I found in one of the translations was that Guru Maharaj described inner peace where there are no good or bad desires. And that needs an explanation of its own, but because when you have desires, accomplishing it gives you one feeling, not accomplishing it gives you another feeling that leads to the emotional upheaval. So peace is where you're beyond that. All right. Eddie, do you want to add anything? Any other thoughts, questions?
No, Sanjeev, it was very good discussion today. I guess maybe I'll just say one small thing about the natural state of samadhi that you'd mentioned, because of so many people believe that joy can't be experienced here on earth, and that they have to sort of receive it after they've passed or transitioned into the afterlife. But as you said, when we achieve that state of sahaj samadhi, that's essentially what people are looking for in death, if you will, here now. So sort of a misunderstanding of what death really is. But you can have that ultimate bliss and happiness while being here on earth. So it is achievable. And through this process, all of us have the ability to reach that state of mind, that state of being.
So Ajita is asking a question: while practicing satsang, is it okay to perform other activities? And the answer is yes. It's as you know, while you practice, you should not mix this with other things, but before, after, you know, you have to, if you practice this half an hour to an hour every day, rest of the 23 hours are yours. So, but once you, it takes a little bit of time to get the deep taste of the deep meditation. Once you get there, the chances are that other things may not look as important, or but you know, yeah, this is actually one thing I found, like throughout my practice. I mean, 40 years into it, born in to this family, fortunately. I mean, I before I started sharing with others, I used to just, you know, it's such open, flexible. There are no real restrictions. Group sessions, especially in India, were like plentiful. So had such amazing experience, you know, thousands of people sitting in silence. I mean, even if you have 100, I mean, it's so noisy most of the time, and it affects you in so many different ways, but thousands of people affecting you positively, and sitting in silence in meditation for 30-40 minutes, it's incredible experience. I mean, that's why I feel that you know, I think it is one, worth experiencing, and two, if you practice, the results just, you know, would you don't have to do anything special. Just this simple process, the results will be very crisp and clear in due course.
Thank you, Leah.
Sure thing. So Shivangi, Anitaji, Onkar, anything else you want to share before we wrap up? Okay, one more question. So when you're feeling emotional upheaval at work or in your daily life, is it possible to use satsang for a few moments to try and achieve some peace? So typically what I have found is that when in the middle of something, you know, like they say sometimes counting to 10 or distracting your mind or all that is better, but satsang is more fundamental, long term. It's like there are things that you do for short-term gain, and then there are things that you do for long term. This is more of a long-term play. If you do it even 15 minutes morning and evening, after some time, your ability to tackle emotional upheaval in a FIR way, which is frequency, intensity, and recovery times, reduce. So they keep reducing. And it could get to a very, very low number, so yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Bhaiya, namaste.
No, yeah. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good to see everyone.
Yeah. What's the thought of the day?
Of the day, I was just listening to everyone. So there is a story that is told in my village. So what happens? Like there was a fox, and so she was wandering in a jungle, and then she found an elephant lying on the ground. So she thought like elephants normally live in herds. This might have died. So she thought like this elephant has died now. No one should claim it. So let me claim the ownership of this elephant. So I can have like feasting for a longer period of time. So in order to claiming ownership, the fox actually tied its tail with the elephant's tail, and then just sat around like, okay, I will eat it later on because right now I am full. And she slept. After some time, when she woke up, she thought like she is hanging from the elephant's tail, and the elephant was moving. So she became really restless because elephant started moving, and she could not do anything because she was upside down. And so people started asking Fox like, "Where are you going?" So she said, "Since I am tied up with the elephant's tail, I will go wherever this elephant actually goes." So the moral of the story is like, if I tied myself to something different that basically I cannot handle, I will actually keep running behind that elephant, and I will not find peace. So that's what it is like. So if I have that awareness myself that what I am tying to is the right thing for me. So once I realize the difference between me and my body, probably I will be in a better position to not to tie myself to the things that may actually bring me various things, various emotions. But in order, like, so what Jeffrey was saying, like, how do you know that you are at a peaceful state? You can be in a peaceful state once you have this differentiation that you are not the mind and not the body. Thank you, Vijay. Thank you for the opportunity for sharing my.
That's an interesting story. So we tie ourselves to an elephant and then wonder what's happening to us. And those are typically desires, attachments, quote unquote attachments. So yeah, very interesting.
Weight on your head.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the baggage that we carry.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So, Samina, Sarah, Teru, Pete, Camilla, anything, any comments, questions? So.
Yeah. Namaskar, Bhai Sahab. Namaskar, Amit ji. A very nice session. And yes, just to follow along with that elephant story, it's like, so the inner happiness, inner peace also involved detaching. So that internal detachment that you were referring to. So it's not that the problems go away. It's not that the upheavals in life go away. But if we have achieved that state of inner happiness, we would be able to detach ourselves from those ups and downs and still have that pervading feeling of steady inner joy, bliss, peace, the target state. Very nice today. Thank you.
All right. So on that note, let's wrap up for today. We'll hopefully see you all very soon. Namaskar, and take care and have a great week ahead. We'll see you here soon. The
Temperature is Sanjeev Bhaiya, Amit Bhaiya.
no shit.